My biggest pet peeve.
Thanks. I don't have that yellow. All right, welcome. Has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes from last meeting?
Yes, sir.
Can I get a motion to approve this?
I'll be a first.
And a second? Second. Everybody say aye. Aye. Nay, same sign. Motion carries. Financial report? Stephanie?
Okay, I'll start here. Just a brief run-through of the Sports and Events Authority financials. So these were from our November meeting, year-to-date 11/1, but I'm actually going to provide a couple updated numbers for the expenses and revenue based on that meeting, November 12th. So the expense column is now $105,360. And then the current available fund balance will be $44,640. And that amount will be for our last meeting in December here, next week, December 10th. And then I'll actually jump right into the bid for revenue and expense report here. That should be in your packet as well. The first page, I just want to highlight the other sources line of $103,277. That money was earmarked for SEA. That was in the transition to the bid for. So that amount is earmarked for SEA.
That will go up at the end of the year as well.
And then I actually included or printed off and included the report for occupancy tax as of this morning. I printed out and then highlighted that number. So that is $143.50. And that page should be included in your packet. And then the third page, again, just wanted to highlight, so the board projects, this is one of three $30,000 increments to the Dakota Riptide for their debt service towards the pool for the next 3 years. And then again, our other sources of financing sources is again that $103,277, which will increase here at the end of the year. So if there's questions, or Stephanie, if I missed anything.
Is that where the other 50,000 that we awarded, is that included in there?
That was really loud, sorry about that. That is as part of the city council supplemental appropriation process, so it won't show up till the end of the year and then it'll carry forward. We had the first reading at the last meeting, the second reading and approvals at the next meeting on December 16th. Sound right? 16th?
Any other questions?
Aaron, do you know approximately what we have for the Sports and Events Authority meeting next week requested?
Yep, so we have the North Dakota Country Fest was tabled. I believe they were requesting 7,500.
Yeah.
Hanson Classics. And then pickleball.
Okay. What's the Hanson Classics a couple?
Same as what they've done the last year's, 3,000, 1,500 for each one.
It's 2 weekends, right?
Correct.
So even if we approve everything, we're still going to end up with about $30,000
Yep.
left in that budget.
10.5. Pickleball was 2,500, so 1,300
Yeah.
off of that, 31,000.
Yep, okay.
What was the 7,500? What event is that?
So the North Dakota Country Fest, what is it, your town tour? It's-
Oh, yep.
McCoy.
That's right, the concert.
Mhm.
McCoy, yep.
If there's no more
Yeah, we'll just
questions,
get a motion and
Can you get it?
second.
So moved.
second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Negative, same sign. Motion passes. Citizens input. If anybody needs to address this board on any items that was not on the agenda excluding personal items, please come to the podium. State your name and your concern. Presentations are limited to 3 minutes. Items will be considered. No action will be taken at this time. I think we're good. All right. Next is the Chamber's Convention and Visitor Bureau presentation. Joanna?
All right. Good afternoon, everybody, and Mayor and Councilman. My name is Johanna Allen, and I am with the Chamber and the Convention and Visitors Bureau. I want to start off by introducing Libby Spicer. We just hired her to be the Destination Marketing and Community Relations Director over at the Chamber. So she'll be handling a lot of the marketing and CVB aspects, where I'm going to focus on some of the bigger picture stuff as well as membership for the Chamber as well. So I wanted to share a couple things about what we do at the CVB. This might be familiar to you, Mayor, and to you when I presented at Council, but I wanted to share some of the efforts that we do when we market the city to both tourists and just events to our community members. So we are the only organization in Mitchell where their sole purpose is to market the city to regional, local, and national markets. So we do this in a variety of different ways. We produce our Mitchell Guide to Everything. So this is 2024's, and we're currently working on 2025's right now. We just had a meeting this afternoon actually planning that, and so we have some ideas to change it up a little bit and make it a little bit more appealing than just your average visitor guide. We also represent Mitchell at conferences and trade shows, so we attend the Tourism Conference, the Upper Midwest Convention and Visitors Bureau Conference, as well as Pheasant Fest, which is where we go and promote pheasant hunting to Mitchell. We also do community events on our local channel. So we do radio advertising, print, we do magazine 605, Motor Magazine, as well as the newspaper. We do digital, Facebook, and paid search advertising, as well as television. We just produced a commercial with Midco about shopping local, which was fantastic. Kind of our more big picture marketing aspects, we work with media companies to promote Mitchell to tourists. So we kind of target different groups based on data that we analyze and target them with different forms of advertising. And we've really seen great results from that this year. And when I was planning 2024's campaign, I really wanted to hone in on overnight travel, because we really want people to come to the Corn Palace, but we want them to spend their money here. So the longer somebody stays, the more they're going to spend their money, the more they're going to shop, eat, spend their money on a hotel room. So that was kind of our focus going into last year, and will continue to be our focus moving forward. I want to share a story that you both are familiar with, because I've already shared it, but a lot of people don't, might say, I don't see your ads for, just general Mitchell tourism ads. Well, that's because we don't target the Mitchell area. We target, Minneapolis, Kansas City, Omaha, those areas. And my sister actually lives in Minneapolis, and she saw one of our ads on TV and called me right away and shared it with me. So that was a really cool little tidbit that she shared with me that kind of let me know, like, okay, people are seeing this. And then when somebody sees it too, it is kind of more personal. But we have seen a very good hotel occupancy for this year, as well as entertainment funding. So we've really felt like those campaigns are working. And then our individual reporting that we receive from the companies has been fantastic as well. We also maintain the Everything Mitchell app, which is an app that promotes Mitchell to both tourists and locals, and it has all of the businesses on there, as well as events. And right now, for the trees outside in the courtyard, we're doing voting on that app. We advertise in both our regional and state visitor guides, so we do print ads in there. We have a couple months ago, we launched a new Visit Mitchell website, so we were able to kind of refresh that, give it a new give it a new face, and then we maintain that website as well as also our social media platforms, which is just nice organic advertising. We don't have to pay for that unless we boost an ad. We send out a weekly email every week that comes from the CVB that is more tourism focused, and then has all the Mitchell events. And then I do want to share something that we are working on that's going to be kind of new. I'm working on it with a couple of people in our office, but we want to kind of enhance the bus tour experience. So a lot of times when buses come to Mitchell, they just come to the Corn Palace. So we've sat down and thought of some ideas on how we're going to get people to spend more time here. So we are creating add-ons for our bus tours where they can come to Bradley's and enjoy dinner, or go to a dinner theater show, so have dinner somewhere and then go to the Mitchell ACT. And so we've got a couple different ones where we'll send them to different places, including the Indian Village or the museums at Dakota Wesleyan. And so we will kind of be debuting that at some of the bus tour conferences that Jen and Doreen will be attending. So it's kind of like speed dating, but for bus tours. And they will meet with people who organize those tours and present that information. We'll also launch it online as well. So that was just a quick tidbit of what we do, but I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Doing the co-op?
Yes, we are. We're doing the co-op. So that's a big part of our kind of broad marketing. We just had a meeting yesterday, actually, with Love Communications, which is who the state works with. So the co-op is basically where we put in $40,000 and the state matches that. So we get $80,000 in marketing. And we work with an agency that is familiar with South Dakota and works with the state. And they create a huge campaign with our guidance for tourism in Mitchell. So yes.
So I thought I would just also mention, because this came up at one of the previous bid 4 meetings, where some of the other bid districts are paying for that, or the CVB is paid for out of the bid 4 funds, or the hotel bid funds. This all comes from entertainment tax funding from the city. None of this is coming from SEA or the bid 4 funds.
Correct.
Probably a silly question. Do you hoteliers like buses to stay over?
Sure.
And so I'm assuming the rates you're getting, you are market rates for the summer months for you guys. And I guess my question to Joanna is what is the number of buses that are staying now? And then once you start this new add-on, I'm sure you're going to track to see if we can possibly get
Absolutely.
more, to hop in. But
Yeah.
do you know the percentage? of all of
I don't know the percentage. I think Jen with the gift shop, she's the one who organizes all of the bus tours, so they call her. So she has all of the data with the bus tours. I would say there's been a couple that I know of that we've talked about within our office that have stayed overnight. I would say the majority probably do not. They're a lot of times on their way to the Black Hills, but we want to keep them for a day to spend the night and then go on to the Black Hills. We do have a goal that we will be tracking. We kind of started small, so we want 5 buses to stay the night, which, I mean, there's about 50 people per bus, so that would be a significant number, but that's kind of where we've set our goal for the year. We think we'll probably surpass that, but that's kind of something I can report back on if we met that goal.
And do we have a few buses that come through in the shoulder time?
You know, I was just looking at the calendar this morning. I think the last bus came in October. There's none on the schedule. The earliest, I think, is February. So they do start coming
Well,
pretty
that's-
early, but those are like very scarce. The big tours start coming in May.
Sure. So anything outside of the summer, obviously.
Exactly, is extra, of course. Yes. All right, well, thank you guys. I appreciate you letting me present.
Okay, group discussion items. This was based on kind of some recommendations from the board last meeting. And the first item is the South Dakota Business Improvement District's, the hotel occupancy tax comparisons. So what you have in your packet, what's on the screen, basically what we did, so they're in alphabetical order. We took the City of Mitchell's bid 4 ordinance, and basically took the highlighted components of the ordinance. So when the bid district was established, I just threw in one of, just a information line as far as population. We included boundaries of that bid district, the purpose of the district, the occupational tax, which every city is at $2 per room per night. We have the board composition. We have the powers of the board. And then a couple of the bid districts have a dissolution of the district. So as you'll see, we have Aberdeen, Box Elder, Brandon, and Brandon's was actually abolished here in 2024. They reached their purpose of the district, which was to pay for their public facilities center. We have Brookings, Deadwood, one of their few bid districts, Hot Springs, Huron, Madison, us, Pierre, Rapid City, Sioux Falls, Spearfish, Sturgis, Vermillion, Watertown, and Yankton. And I guess before we get into any comments or questions, I know one of the topics of discussion has kind of been the makeup of the board or the composition. So out of all those cities listed, there are 4 that the voting board is strictly made up of hoteliers. Rapid City is hotel and hospitality. Aberdeen is Spearfish and Sturgis.
What do you mean hotel and hospitality? Just-
I guess owners of the,
So which ones just have hotel members?
so Aberdeen, Spearfish, and Sturgis. I guess Rapid City has some hospitality.
Then owns restaurants and
Okay.
hotels.
Yeah, so I guess Aberdeen, Spearfish, and Sturgis, their makeup of the board is strictly hoteliers. The rest of the cities have, a composition, mayor, city council, a business representative, something to that extent.
Kind of all over the place, to be honest, isn't it?
It is, yes. They go, I guess, anywhere from 5 to, I think Aberdeen is up to 16, 20.
Oh my gosh.
It's too many. That's way too many.
Oh my gosh, I can't imagine getting a quorum.
I think that's because they let every motel have a board member, do they not?
They do, and then there's multiple representatives from a couple of the hotels.
Yeah, so some of them just take the approach, put everybody on board, let them hash it out.
Yep, so I don't really have, I guess, a prepared presentation. I mean, again, basically, each sheet you have is a specific city. It has that criteria that I listed in the beginning. Like I said, every city is at the $2 per room per night.
I think there's one point to add. Even if a city doesn't have in the ordinance the procedures for dissolution of the board, depending on the type of board they have, they still have state law. And a process is outlined in state law of how you go about that. So just because it doesn't show in someone's ordinance doesn't mean they don't have the ability to do that in state law.
It's good information to learn to have, just to refer. And they do show that some of them are strictly sales and marketing promotion, some are capital, some are, I mean, it's just a mixture all over the place. So it's not, there's no golden rule that everybody's following by any stretch of the imagination.
Why would Brandon let those dollars go down the interstate?
Do they still charge the tax and then do this?
No.
They did it specifically for their conference center that was attached to the, I think it was the Holiday Inn. It was Kevin Johnson's facility. And they just did it to pay that bond off, and then when it was done, it dissolved.
Maybe,
It was set up that way
yeah.
from day one. So once it was paid, it was gone.
Which, that's how our previous bid commitments were also set up. So when the ice arena was paid off or the pool, then it would have dissolved unless we did something different. So maybe they'll find another project.
My guess is there's no shortage of projects.
Yeah. Pickleball.
But it's good information to see, because we've had a lot of discussion on who's doing what and why, and everybody's different.
And I guess last note, there is, some select cities, as you look through, they do have, I guess, something similar to our SEA as far as the grant form, sponsorship form per se. Aberdeen has a funding process to where events can put in an application for additional funding. Looks like Brookings has an event grant program. And the highlight, or the lettering in blue, those are actually the links that take you, I guess, that specific information on their page. Deadwood, they have an event funding program. Here on the CVB awards funding for events. Here has the same thing. Again, it's not really an advisory committee, it's more of just a marketing or event grant form.
They also have a public facilities grant request, it looks like.
Yep, correct. They have a specific, if they want to improve or enhance different facilities, a specific form for that.
The purpose of district, though, it seems like it's almost just generic language.
It's right out of state law.
Yeah, they took it out of the state law to cover everything.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they're doing everything, because later if you read, some of them say sales and marketing only, but the purpose is always listed to cover everything, just in case. Because like you said, that's the way the law's written, so they just took it right out of there.
Easy route is to copy the language in state law, right?
Yeah. I mean, they say the different purposes, but that's not how they're all using them necessarily, so. But it gives them permission to use it that way if they want.
Just let everyone review it for a little bit, and then we'll, if there's no more discussion or questions, we can move on to the next item.
Unfortunately, I wish I had it.
Okay, if the board's ready, we can move on to the next agenda item. So the bid force survey results, this was a discussion item last meeting as well. Jerry Thompson has donated and dedicated some of his time to put together the survey questionnaire that was included in your packet. I'll just kind of let him have the floor here.
Yeah, unfortunately, as is the case in a lot of these things, when you send stuff like this out and expect people to respond, they don't always all respond. Out of the 13 motels that were included in the survey, 7 responded so far. I had hoped that I could just physically go to those doors and knock on those doors and get the other 6 of them, and I will. But unfortunately, I ran out of time. I mean, I had different things going on. I had a situation at one of our businesses that demanded my attention that I just didn't have time to get to it. I will get to it. I will try to get those other 6 by next meeting. As you can see, the questionnaire really just focuses around how would you like to see the funding spent and in which area? Because as you noticed in the purposes in that last information that Aaron put together, you're allowed to do pretty much anything you want to do. I mean, you can You can do sales and marketing, you can do capital, you can do repair and maintenance, you can do all kinds of things. But at the end of the day, if the moteliers are the ones that have the power to vote this in and vote this out, if we don't follow the wishes and desires of the moteliers, we're going to find ourselves in a position where we could risk losing the funding totally. So I felt it was important to get their input. I still feel it's important to get their input. Of the 7 that I got, I'll be real honest with you, it's mixed results. I mean, there are people that say, I want it specifically for, direct marketing and promotion, and I have other people that say, I want it directly for capital. So it's mixed responses. Most people say a combination of the two, with probably a little more emphasis toward marketing and promotion, but they're not adverse to capital projects. And I think the feeling for that is coming from, quite bluntly, that, we can only attract events and groups to the community if we have adequate facilities to do that. I mean, we may have great intent that we want to have a, indoor pickleball winter tournament, but if we have no facilities, obviously you got no chance. So I think at the end of the day, there'll be a combination thereof. And it's going to be up to the board and the city to walk that fine line without hopefully upsetting too many people at any one given time. But it's like anything, you're not going to keep 100% of the people happy 100% of the time, but you just have to do the right thing. And above all, I feel like at least if we asked for the information from the hoteliers, and hopefully they give it to us. If they don't, when that hotelier comes to me and starts complaining, the first thing he's going to hear is, well, why didn't you participate? Why didn't you fill out the survey? Why didn't you let us know? You can't sit in the bleachers and just complain if you don't participate in the process. So it was kind of a, cover your butt kind of thing in some ways. But it's good information. And like I said, by the next meeting, I hope to have, hopefully all 13. I may have some that just don't want to fill it out. They may never fill it out, but if that's what they choose to do, so be it. We'll go with the flow of the group. Again, I apologize for not getting it sooner. Quite bluntly, a lot of them didn't come in that quick. And I was in Arizona for a couple weeks. I came back, and like I said, I had a serious instance with one of my businesses that I had to take care of, an embezzlement situation, unfortunately. So I had to take care of that. Just didn't have time to chase around and try to get these, but I'll get them by the next meeting. Any questions, comments about the survey?
What was the time of the year that they, so question number 5, should the funds be directed toward conferences
Yep.
during a certain time of the year? What was the reaction to that?
What I'm seeing so far, most of the people tend to focus on winter, but they're not opposed to some summer activities too. But you can see the reason for the obvious focus toward wintertime, because the motels are usually pretty full, pretty occupied summer months. So natural to believe that they're going to want to do that. But again, hopefully we generate enough funds that we can do things that do benefit the community year round. Priority should probably be given to winter months, but doesn't mean we can't do something in the summer.
Do we allow you or anyone to have say you go bid on a project, basically question number 6, do we have that ability now for you?
You're talking about the direct payments?
Yeah, like can they,
Yeah,
you
I mean,
say,
I think
I can offer up to $1,500 to bring this piece of business to town?
The Sports Authority does that on a regular basis, quite bluntly.
Okay.
If an organization's wanting to come and they're saying, in order for us to come, we need $3,000
Yep.
or $10,000 or whatever, I can see how that looks kind of, but that's the reality of the market we're in.
But I'm assuming there's a formula and what we think that number should be.
Yeah, there's a formula.
Yeah, so obviously they have to fill out the application
Yeah.
for the SEA, and then I guess it's just kind of that funding matrix that Jeff got started. We've kind of vamped it up to where it's just hotel, specific. Obviously, there's other criteria that the SEA committee, talks about and stuff. A couple of the questions on that application is, how many rooms did your last event, room nights did your last event generate? It's every 50 increments up to 900. And then there's another question, how many do you feel it will generate? Again, 50 done, and then we just provide, the number Jeff and I came up with was $10 per room. And then what time of year it is, so that priority month, as far as November through April. Or November through March, April through May are another priority level, June, and then July through October.
And then the SEA, they review those applications and the financials of those events, along with that matrix that Aaron talked about in executive session. So that's when the hotel owners also give input as to how many rooms are actually seen with those events annually. That might affect that funding formula as well.
Yeah, I know Dave Helloyd shared with me the other day that one of them, and I'm probably speaking out of school, Tim, you may have heard of it. I think he brought up the idea of even saying, if you have a youth activity that's coming in town with a bunch of teams, we'll give you, whatever, $250 per team if they live further than 70 miles away. Thinking, of course, that if you live far enough away, you'll stay overnight.
Similar to when we paid registrations if they came from over 100 miles or whatever.
But if they're coming from, Alec and or Parkston and so forth, there's no overnight stays going to happen there. So, encouraging some out-of-the-market people to come in, I think, is the goal, however they can get that done.
We will give special consideration depending on how many days, obviously, too. If it's a 2-day event, they're staying overnight. Or we'll ask them what time your things are starting. When we start soccer games at 8 o'clock in the morning, well, pretty well if they're outside 50, 60 miles, they're coming the night before. Coming in. And then if they're first-time projects. And have hopes of building, they're trying to get started, they don't really have a budget from last year, we give them a little extra priority too, to get something new started.
I have seen a few of the surveys that I've gotten say that they like to focus on new events, but they're not against repetitive if it benefits the overnight stays.
Especially if they continue to grow.
Right.
If they just stay stagnant,
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too, Tim, as I've seen SEA when it's a new event or if they're expanding on an existing event, whether it's adding another day to the tournament or, adding another age category or something, they've also given some special consideration in those circumstances.
Soccer tournament will come in and they had 40 teams last year. They're projecting 75 this year. Well, obviously their costs for referees and for rentals will go up, so we might help them a little more, but it's more people in town.
Overall, though, I will say the ones that I talked to when I dropped them off, most of the motel people were very pleased to at least have some input. So if nothing else, at least it served that purpose.
We might, if they're interested, I would think, I know we've got motel leaders on our Sports and Events Authority, but they should come and sit in and see what we do, like help them too.
It's just an interesting thing, Tim. I mean, I don't know how we get it done, and you got to be careful how you do some of these things, but with all the motels in town, I've always thought there ought to be a motel, an association that we get together twice a year just to talk about things. But the reverse of that, you don't want people to think, well, you're getting together to set prices or you're doing this or that. You got to be careful how you do those things. But boy, there's a lot to be learned if you just share industry things that are going on in the community and what you can do for the community. Because, nobody's setting prices. Don't get me wrong, that's not happening, and I don't think it ever would. But people will accuse you of funny things. But I'd like to see more involvement. I think all the more motel owners ought to be sitting in here right now today, just listening. You don't have to be on the board to vote. Just come listen. You can be a part of it. hard to get people to get involved.
Well, thanks for putting that together.
No problem.
For doing that. I guess we'll move on to item C. So in my journey here, the last about a month, the request that was brought up in the last meeting was, I guess, RFP, event recruitment, a couple platforms. We discussed Sports Tourism Index, which was one about 3 years ago that we had them share a presentation with the SEA committee. And then it was directed towards the end of that discussion to have a second platform comparison. So basically, in my journey, I'm going to start with less is more. So each platform shared a slideshow that basically highlights, what it's about, what it provides, and then I'll we'll go through a little Q&A, hoping those questions will kind of take us a little more, a little deeper into, the benefit or some of the offers that the platforms can provide. So the first one, Jeff and Tim might think some of this information is familiar from our presentation about 3 years ago. So Sports Tourism Index actually changed hands to Tempest is the organization now. Jay Bowling has been the, exact title, Client Success Analyst. He's been the success manager that I've been in contact with through numerous various emails, a couple program demonstrations. Basically what the Sports Tourism Index offers is benchmarking, digital matchmaking, and then an economic impact analysis. So basically, it assesses a city's destination. We enter information regarding the facilities we have, our operational structure, and then an event portfolio as far as what types of events we host on a yearly, annual basis. The Scout subscription, that's the RFP and lead generation. It's a data-driven platform that it connects the destinations with however many sports and events organizers they have in their platform. So some of the key benefits that Jay pointed out, it's always recruiting, always scouting 365 days a year. It's regularly updated with the latest events and facilities. It discovers partnerships beyond traditional networking, and then cost-effective save on business development with a single efficient digital solution. So the starter package is what I've been working with about the last month and a half. This is also what we had access to when Jared did it over at the chamber. So their advanced subscription is an annual $3,750, and that includes that Scout, your RFP search, your rights holders search, your digital matchmaking. You get weekly RFP email updates specific to, the city of Mitchell, Mitchell Sports and Events Authority. And then there's a, spend calculator and an economic impact that you can generate for events that come to Mitchell. Again, it's $3,750 annually. This is the list of what you get in the subscription. He included just a screenshot as far as what, what the advanced subscription includes. Again, it's going to have leads. It's going to have specific sports and events organizers. So in the Excel spreadsheet comparison that you have in your packet, Sports Tourism Index, they have 259 sports event organizers that are able to put together or submit RFPs for their events throughout the country. There's 412 destinations that are included in this Scout or Sports Tourism Index. So I guess the way to look at it is you have 259 organizations submitting an event. Potentially, you have 412 destinations competing for it. Nearby customers, so these three have a starter package, which is just basically you submit your facilities, you get your score, it tells you areas to improve on. It doesn't include the scouts, so Sioux Falls uses it, Rapid City uses it, and Brookings uses it. Lincoln, Nebraska is a part of the advanced subscription. Also included in your packet, this is our index report. So after our facility data was entered, our destination strength, we answered a handful of questions, our organizational structure, and then our event portfolio per se. It's an algorithm. It comes up with a score based on basically those four benchmarking categories: facilities, destination strength, organizational structure, and events. That gives you a score. It has your overall rank. So 107 overall is based out of those 410 destinations that are a part of it. We're 34 ranked out of the Midwest category, which has 124 destinations, and then a population of under 500,000, we're ranked 75 out of 187. So our destination benchmarking tools, we received gold in this instance is second place. They offer a platinum trophy, but gold. So we received a gold trophy for our facilities. As you can see here, this is the diagram as far as where it rates us based on our scores. And the one concern, I guess I wouldn't say concern, but a point that was brought up was our destination strength. That's on the low end. And when we go back to the index report, so your destination has access challenges that are likely tied. Basically, it's we don't have an airport within our city. So what they recommend future focus should be dedicated to storytelling about the positive attributes of the destination to strengthen demand for future visitation. Facilitation of high-level discussions around destination development is important to maintain long-term success. So I can, again, tourism, so these are just, again, I just want to, I guess, share why that score is so low. So basically, one of the questions it asks, what we have for following partners. So basically, Mitchell has Dakota Wesleyan University, which is the one NIAA college. Hotels and restaurants, so again, these are specific to Mitchell. The range is rather extensive. So within a 5-minute drive, this is how many hotels we have, 15-minute drive, 30-minute drive, and then restaurants within our community. And then transportation and accessibility, local airport, national or international airport within 2-hour drive, and then where we can get within 90 minutes and 4 hours. So we have a population of 350 plus within a 4-hour drive. And I did say yes to bus system, trolley. James Valley Community Center, I consider that our bus system. So I guess at this point I'm going to stop with that comparison. A lot of information. So again, I don't want to keep us here till 4:59. So I guess that was what we've received from the Sports Tourism Index. He had, when I talked with Jay this week, currently, so they switched over platforms from a different company to Tempest. April 18th, April 10th. And from then until now, they've generated 128 RFPs. Average, again, with these RFPs, I guess the big kicker is the amount of hotel room per nights the event requests. The average, again, based on kind of the information he could share, the average, based on those 128 RFPs, the average hotel room nights asked for in the RFPs was about 825. So some you're getting 2,000 room nights asked for in the RFP, others you're getting 100, 150.
What's the cost?
$3,750.
Per year.
Good.
Would he tell you if we don't have the potential to, get something from this?
Yep, he was, again, there's certain criteria he has to keep confidential. I didn't get any specifics, kind of like we got 3 years ago, as far as the actual RFPs. He just, again, was able to share.
They're coming from people that are around here that would possibly be.
Yep, all those destinations, they're within the United States. It just depends on criteria. They can search your facilities. So we went into and entered every facility that I think we have: Cadwell, Dakota Wesleyan, Davidson County, as you can see. And if a sports organizer is looking for a specific facility, those algorithms, those scores, they can see that, okay, Pepsi-Cola Soccer Complex matches one of their criterias for their soccer tournament. It receives a specific score. We had a 2.5, we received a bronze trophy for that, which is, again, I think pretty good for a regional soccer field. They can reach out, they can reach out to Jeremy as far as the contact for that facility to potentially reserve it.
So what did you say, $3,700 or something? It seems like a relatively low barrier of entry to something like that. So, and you said it was like, you just divide that by 2, and that's how many room nights you need to sell to break even on that. It seems like it'd be
The cost,
very simple.
yeah, the cost is super cheap.
Even if you don't get any, it's like,
Yeah. The impression
big
I have
gamble.
is that it seems to be geared more toward larger national events, not smaller regional events, but I could be wrong. But for $3,700,
What it came down to, Jerry, is when he showed us some of the things that most of the things that they had placed over the period of whatever, it was regional type stuff. And you notice who's on their starter program? It's Sioux Falls, Rapid City, and Brookings. It's those kind of facilities. If they're gonna have a soccer tournament come in upper Midwest, not just in South Dakota,
Right.
in upper Midwest, this facility isn't gonna work. They're gonna go to Sioux Falls where they have 18 soccer fields and that's what showed up on there. It
Yeah.
wasn't statewide, and I agree with you, $3,700, is nothing, But it just wasn't.
yeah, our facilities are really more geared toward smaller
Yes.
in-state, regional, maybe,
Yeah.
northern Nebraska, eastern, our target area is smaller. They're not going to come from, Illinois to Mitchell, South Dakota to do a soccer tournament, of our size.
And that's what you find with these companies, they're dealing on that kind of a basis. They're not
Big,
gonna
bigger scale.
work hard to get you something that 100 people are gonna come to town.
But the price is really reasonable, but I just don't know what's going to come out of it.
is it worth a risk of just doing it 1 year and seeing how it turns out? Are you willing to lose $3,700 to gain nothing?
I think what it does for you is it throws our information into his pool and then see what you get back.
Yeah, and who knows, maybe there's someone that,
To me, it's worth the gamble for $3,700.
To me, it is,
I'm
too.
just not very optimistic, but, you don't know till you try.
Do
Because maybe they want to do a tournament, all those other facilities you're using, like, well, I guess we have this one, we didn't even know about it, and then, boom. It's always a possibility. They may have them, but they may be full.
Probably the bigger question of those, what was it, 259 people that use it to place tournaments? How many of them are within 400 miles of Mitchell?
Can we ask Terry and Sioux Falls or, Brookings, what are they seeing? Are they, events that only a complex like at SDSU can handle or Sioux Falls?
I can definitely reach out to each of those cities and see what their experience is with
I
it.
mean, I can't imagine that, somebody in Sioux Falls and the lady in Brookings is super nice. I mean, I can't imagine that they couldn't just tell you that, yes, but unless your facilities, because it's all national stuff they're bidding on or whatever it may be. I don't know.
I think just ask the guy, is there a possibility we can make our money back at $2 a room? I mean, that'd be pretty good. Even if you didn't get one, I mean, it'd be worth knowing. You never know. It takes one.
Not a big gamble.
It's not a big gamble at all. No, and the potential of missing one or two events is a bigger loss. Your risk to reward is pretty good.
I don't know if he would give us that, Aaron.
Spend 30
how many users are within 400 or 500 miles?
Yeah.
Because realistically, we're not going to get people from any more than probably, even 400 miles is probably a stretch, but you could. But if you start getting 600-800 miles away, they're not, I hate to say it, but they're probably not coming to Mitchell, South Dakota.
Aaron, when he listed like Sioux Falls and Rapid in the starter, so that's a free?
That's basically you're entering your facilities,
That's it, and so they can see.
But they're not even
They're
paying the
not
$3,700.
No, they're not even getting, I guess, the leads. So our question may be, so that's a good point, that our question of what events are you seeing?
Yeah, if they're not paying for it,
Isn't
they're
gonna
not
be
seeing
relevant.
anything.
I know our gears are turning, but, I do want to share the second platform, because it's a little different. Not terribly much more in price, but it has a different concept. The concept behind it is more, you get your RFPs, but it's more destination marketing, exposure, and event experience, marketing and exposure. And that's PlayEasy. So it's the all-in-one sports tourism platform. There's 4 engines, I guess, to the vehicle that it offers. Your marketing engine, your sales engine, your data engine, and your event experience engine. Again, I'm going to try to keep as simple as I can. Less is more per se, and hopefully the questions kind of take us to the actual platform. But these are the criteria that it offers through the marketing engine, through this platform.
What's the cost of this one?
$49.95, and that's a small market discount that they were able to provide us. It's originally $59.95. So the marketing engine has this criteria. One of the criteria was the search engine organization indexing. So Sports Tourism Index, the previous one is a, private platform. This is a public platform. So I just want you to keep in mind that as we get a little further along here, I'll explain why the exposure potentially is a little better with PlayEasy. The sales engine, this is where your RFPs come into play. The event experience, so this would be specific event experience. And the intention behind this, if we decide to go this direction, would be to start using it for Sports and Events Authority awarded funding events and see if we want to branch out with additional events as far as the marketing and exposure that the events that receive grant funding would receive through this platform. They're just 3 short videos. I do want to share them as
Youth
they,
sports tournaments can be a significant investment for families. In today's economy, with rising costs and financial pressures, it's never been more important to put yourself in your visitor's shoes. The key to creating amazing event experiences ultimately comes down to having empathy for your visitors. Aim to eliminate unnecessary hotel fees and enhance visitors' experiences by offering exciting activities, deals, and discounts to help them save during their stay. Meanwhile, provide a simple way for them to access information that helps you assess the impact of your destination. Plazy empowers you to achieve these goals. Visit Baton Rouge is a prime example. They genuinely understood and enhanced the event experience of the teams and families visiting their city for the Marucci World Series. They created a custom event page on Plazy months in advance to help families plan their stay with hotels, nearby discounts, and attractions. They also negotiated affordable hotel rates directly with the hotels to eliminate third-party junk fees, and promoted them with links directly to the hotel websites. With lower hotel rates, families have more money to spend eating out or shopping in your city. Baton Rouge promoted special deals for the athletes, such as a top golf discount and a discount to a local bowling and laser tag menu. Families had a user-friendly way to find the hotel specials, promotions, and things to do that were all catered for them all in one place. From a marketing perspective, event attendees are visiting this page, so it's crucial for Baton Rouge to be able to track the event's analytics. They also need to demonstrate the positive effect sports events have on the entire region to encourage future community engagement and support. Their team demonstrated the event's impact by tracking event views, hotel bookings, clicks on hotel specials, and promotion redemptions. By collaborating with Marucci to share the event link, their page attracted over 12,000 unique views. Thanks to Plazy's robust SEO, more than 6,000 of these views came from organic Google searches, requiring no additional effort from the Visit Baton Rouge team. They recorded over 700 clicks on hotel specials through the event page, supported by a heat map that showed the geographic origins of their visitors. Baton Rouge enabled PlayEasy's live hotel rates to appear after hotel specials expired to continue marketing their hotels. They tracked an additional 21 room nights that they otherwise wouldn't have. Lastly, they tracked all of the marketing referrals they sent Topgolf and Main Event and could see how many promotions were redeemed to help these stakeholders see the impact this event and the Baton Rouge marketing team had on their business. This isn't only a testament of the power of collaboration when marketing, but also the power of empathizing with the event attendees to make them feel cared for and to make sure their experience is the best it can be. So by cutting unnecessary hotel fees, offering local discounts, and using the right data tracking tools, destinations can help teams make lifelong memories that then also leads to repeat business and helps them attract even more events in the future. At PlayEasy, we're all about creating unforgettable sports experiences. The number one issue we heard destinations struggle with is accurately tracking the number of hotel bookings an event produces, and especially sports events. The primary way to track bookings is room blocks. But room blocks have several challenges which include expiring weeks before the event, are time-consuming, are often more expensive with third-party commissions and rebates, and are risky for both the hotel and the event organizer. Plazy event data shows 75% of attendees register for events within 30 days of the start date. Most room blocks expire by then, so only 25% of hotel bookings are being accounted for with contracted rooms. PlayEasy's hotel solution helps you get credit for more hotel bookings by tracking hotel pickup for non-contracted events and tracking bookings after your room blocks expire. We pull the lowest live rates from over 40 of the largest online platforms, GDS systems, hotel websites, and private wholesale groups to then allow people to book hotels directly on PlayEasy. Here's how it works. First, destinations can pick the exact hotels they want to be listed as options to be booked. This ensures that only your destination's hotel partners are able to be booked on your destination profile and on your event microsites. You can easily create an event microsite in minutes, which allows you to track hotel bookings for that specific event. There are two main options for setting up hotels on your event microsite. The first option is using hotel specials, which are for events using room blocks or special event rates that often have an expiration date. Destinations can have these hotel specials linked directly to your hotel partners' websites, allowing visitors to book directly with the hotel and avoid third-party commissions. You can schedule PlayEasy's live rate fallback option to automatically activate when the room block expires. This allows your hotel partners to continue to be exclusively marketed on the event, while also allowing you to track the exact bookings after the room blocks expire. The second main option is for events that aren't using room blocks, which is to simply just enable your destination's hotel live rate marketplace that will automatically list all of your hotels with the live rates for the dates of the event and sort them by distance to the event. These are typically the lowest rates available online, making it more likely visitors will complete the booking as they likely won't find lower rates elsewhere. As you click into a hotel, it shows you a full profile automatically updated from the online systems to reflect up-to-date information. You're shown the room options, and then you're taken to a booking page where you can enter details and your hotel reward points. There's an optional $9 custom fee you can receive directly that is added onto the taxes and fees section for additional funding. In your admin view, you get a real-time analytics dashboard of all the hotels booked across all the events you run. You also get a breakdown of all of the hotel special clicks you drove if you use direct hotel links first. This is great data to share with your hotels and helps you get credit for more hotel bookings. By showing the lowest rates to visitors, you have a higher chance of getting more people to book your hotels through these pages to get more accurate hotel pickup reports. Thanks for watching.
That seems more like a Expedia than it generates events.
No wonder we have so much trouble finding out how many more.
So here is, this, I guess.
I don't know how that would benefit anyone. Maybe it does for the hoteliers, but to me, it just seems like a way to.
So this is the homepage of the PlayEasy. It's basically kind of a Facebook event, sports and events page, but you can make posts to it. Jake Hughes is the account executive that I'm working with, so this is what our site page, our destination page could potentially look like. So Mitchell Sports and Events Authority. Again, not all information is added. You would enter all your facilities.
But do they go out and find people then?
Yep, I'm getting to that.
Oh, okay.
Our hotels. So the way it's set up now is we just have the 12 hotels that are included in the bid district. It doesn't include the Budget, the Corn Palace, the Coach Light, or the Siesta. So this was the individual hotel page that the video referenced. We're able to list all our attractions. Again, this is just a few that we entered for demonstration purposes. Events, again, the thought process behind it is to utilize these events page for SEA awarded funding events to start.
Well, that solves your question about trying to get people to answer surveys after the event to know how many people actually stayed here.
Yeah, so it would be a time of educating because you would have to include the link with whatever the organization is. They would have to go into this link that is specific to the PlayEasy event. So Hoop City Classic, they would have to click on this link. They could come to the hotels. And then that would provide the rate and they would be able to choose. And those statistics only come from, obviously, if they reserve their room.
Through this hotel.
Through this platform, yep. So again, Hoop City Classic, nearby attractions, again, all these, any restaurants or places of play could offer deals, specials. Photos, posts, event history. But one thing with the search engine organization, so somebody not very user or technology friendly, I guess, you type in Hoop City Classic. Mitchell, South Dakota, it's not going to pop up. So since it is a public platform, it was within, looks like 6 or 7 of your first searches. On your Google search, it pops up with Hoop City Classic, and it would take mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, whoever, to this specific page if they want more information about the event. They have a grandson, a son and daughter playing in it, and then they would be able to book their hotels potentially through this site. Now, on the back side of it is where we get to the RFP part of it. So Play Easy has 695, I believe, as of this morning, 695 sports and events organizers. And then there were 308 destinations currently using this platform. Nearby customers using the full market subscription: Sioux Falls, Rapid City, Omaha, Des Moines. There's 8 cities in Minnesota, kind of surrounding Minneapolis, St. Paul, Boise, Idaho, and Casper, Wyoming. Originally, it's $59.95. They did a small market discount for $4,995. Basically, we were generated 125 leads. I've sorted through these. The 52 we passed on is the hotel room night criteria. Again, some of them, you're going to get rooms per night, 1,000. It's over the 900, $895. So the 73 that were generated, a lot of soccer, a lot of lacrosse, basketball, some football, baseball camps, a surprising amount of esports as well. Some triathlons, walking, running events. And then basically there's really no way to sort it by month, because when these organizers do a broader time frame as far as when you'd be potentially able to host the event. So to narrow it down, you just basically have to look when they want to potentially host this upcoming event. And I know this one is, I've already reached out to Scott Mullenmeister. This is potentially one that, I don't know, if the facts line up, it could potentially be pretty beneficial. But this is what it looks like. Specific events, they have a contact that you would reach out to through this platform. Each one has a Play Easy estimate as far as the economic impact that the event could have for the city or the destination. And then this is, this is just the back end. This is where the leads are generated, 125. This is where I got, so organizations, 696 now, sports and events organizers around the country. Destinations are so 310 are competing for whatever those 692 or whatever are submitting. And then the overall RFP marketplace, there's 293 RFPs that have been found. I guess just to wrap up the slideshow here, again, data engine. So this would be your data specific through the Play Easy account. Again, it would be, a training, educating process with the events and the organizers to be able to include this link to the event so that parents, grandparents, book their hotels through the Play Easy event performance breakdown, hotel pickups, hotel clicks, any restaurants, again, playing facilities if they want to have promotions during a specific event. That's the community collaboration, working with your local restaurants and businesses to offer specials, things like that during these events. And again, $5,995, a small market discount of $4,995. So I guess where my journey took me.
And the 4,995 is for everything you just showed?
Yep, marketing engine, sales engine, event experience engine, data engine,
Okay.
community collaboration, and I guess, real quick, they are gonna roll out an AI tour guide for this platform as well in early Q1 of 2025. That's basically just, you ask artificial intelligence a question about your event. Through the Play Easy platform, what restaurant is closest to the Pepsi-Cola soccer complex. Based on your information through Play Easy, it would tell the person where that information or where the restaurant is. Up-to-date local info, instant hotel deals, exclusive deals. Basically, you're just going to ask. Again, I guess I can't think of a question at the moment, but you ask a question about a specific Hoop City Classic, so we can see if.
But again, the event organizer then has to have his people going to this. If they go to the CBB or Mitchell Chamber, that's not going to be, they've got to go to this Play Easy.
Yep, so that was the one kind of head scratcher is, are we already potentially doing this? Everything Mitchell app, that has kind of all that right there. This is just.
Yeah, it's a matter of how do I, if I have a tournament and I want to look to see if I have other options to bring it somewhere, how do I know about Play Easy?
You're talking just.
Just say I'm running that classic basketball tournament. How do I know that I can go to Play Easy and find potentially 70 other places that I could hold my tournament at because I don't like where it's at now?
So they would have, those event organizers, so Ernie would have to go through and become a sports event organizer through Play Easy. And I may not be following correctly your question.
I'm just wondering, where did those leads come from? How do those leads get on there? How do they learn about mine tournaments? How do they learn about the Willie Mack tournaments or the, whatever tournaments they are, to put them on there for us to look at them and say, hey, that might be a good fit for us?
So these, again.
Yeah, where did they get those? How do I know to put my US ball on there?
So this would be the marketing side of Play Easy. They go out and recruit these organizations to
So they
join.
just search for, and do they charge the tournaments and stuff then too?
To be a sports organizer?
Yeah, like do I have to pay if I'm the tournament organizer?
That I'm not sure.
Yeah, I understand. So we've got a soccer complex. So Play Easy knows we've got a soccer complex. There's somebody in where?
Yeah, but there's an event organizer out of these 696 and they're looking for a 9-field, flat field soccer tournament in.
But they've got to be looking for us. That's what I think you're asking.
Well, then I'm kind of like, how do people know about Play Easy? If I'm the one that's organizing this tournament, how do I know that there's this platform called Play Easy that I could find Mitchell on?
I guess they would have to do their research per se and become a part of the platform to become, organization, 697 per se. Because they're not, unless you're an event organizer, you're not able to submit an RFP.
I've just never heard about it, so how do people hear about Way Easy to put their event on.
And actually, Jay with Sports Tourism Index, I hesitantly asked him the question because I couldn't find a platform to compare Sports Tourism Index to. And I asked Jay, is there another event recruitment platform? And he actually suggested this one. And this just has, I guess the saying is, more bells and whistles to it than just your, your strictly your RFPs listed based on hotel room nights, facility requirements.
I like it better. I just trying to figure out how you find it to begin with.
And being, again, this, I guess, shies away from your question, but, if, again, grandma and grandpa, aunt and uncle, mom and dad have an event that, is hosted, Hoop City Classic, they're going to Google, they're from out of town and they Google, Hoop City Classic, it's supposed to pull up higher in your search results.
As part of the SEC, you could make it a requirement in order to get your
Right.
money, you have to fill out the
Right.
information on here and get a site,
Yeah,
get your event hooked up on there, so then.
I don't know if this is similar, but you think about when you go to a conference and you get emailed from the conference people and they send you to the conference site, which shows all the hotels, and then you can do research about things by wherever you're staying or where the event is. It seems similar to that. Because you don't go book your conference hotel at an off, you don't go directly to the site. You always book through the event site.
But there are conference planners that do that. I'm just wondering how that ties into
Yeah, I don't know.
our local, any event like this that comes to Mitchell, the thing you gotta remember is you're gonna have to have a local organization tied into it. Somebody's not gonna come here from Kansas City to run a soccer tournament in Mitchell and bring all their volunteers and they have to tie in with somebody here.
Yep, so
The
this
Mitchell
five,
Soccer Association, and then there has to be some reason for the Mitchell Soccer Association to run that tournament, rather than their people have nothing else to do in the world. And that's how the Sports and Events Authority works.
yep, so this area championship, basically, we connect them, and that's why I reached out to Scott to see if it'd be an interest to him. The local soccer association does the grassroots marketing, getting volunteers, and then they do a cut of whatever it may be goes towards your local soccer association.
So it's gotta be a local.
Need good, strong parent groups to be willing to volunteer to hold a tournament, otherwise
Yeah,
it won't happen.
I mean, that's why we didn't have a women's softball tournament in Mitchell until about 4 years ago. We went 7, 8 years with no state tournaments in Mitchell. And we finally got the soccer, or the softball people in here and said, why don't we ever, we've got great facility, why would we want to bring it here? We can't make any money. They won't let us charge admission. We don't get the concessions because the city runs the concessions. Why should the local Mitchell Women's Soccer Association bust their butt and put a tournament on? Even though it might bring 50 teams to Mitchell for the weekend, they make nothing. Well, then the Sports Authority says, if you made $3,000 for your organization, would you consider doing it? Well, yeah, we would. So then they went and did it and brought it to town.
Yeah.
But nobody's going to do it for nothing.
It's interesting platforms. I mean, I gotta admit, it's interesting, but I'm having a hard time like you are, Tim, figuring out how it fits our market.
It just seems awfully large for our market.
And I think eventually, once people get to know these organizations, maybe it'll be more successful, but unless they have a bunch of users that are pretty close to us that use this site, probably not gonna get anything out of it. But it's not a cost thing, it's just, is it gonna work?
And just in discussion with Jake, he's the Play Easy. I think that was kind of the direction they took when they developed this, is you have your RFPs, but you're also including more exposure for the destination, more exposure for your event experience to where potentially it would make sense for a smaller market destination to say, well, there are potential small possibility of leads that we could maybe get one, but we're also able to market and expose our events through this as well and get the data. So again, I can kind of leave it at that. We can discuss more in the next meeting, or just emails if you have specific questions, or I'll just kind of put it on hold for now.
Yeah, I think after watching it, the first one seems a lot more promising.
Yeah, the first one's just, again, your basic, your list, your exported list of leads, and, there's a couple other smaller features in it. The spend calculator where you can share the economic impact of an event. It has different criteria that you can enter into it.
So I guess would it make sense to just pull the trigger, take a gamble on $3,700? Hopefully you get some leads, and if you don't, then at least we know and we don't have to just wonder whatever happened.
What's going through my mind, Jordan, is, I get what you're saying, agree 100%, but then when I hear the people that are using Play Easy versus the other one, there's a lot more people using this one than the other one.
Well,
So yeah, either platform.
And in this case, they're actually paying for it too. They don't have a free option, do they? These guys Play Easy.
No.
So we got, you listed probably 10 people that are paying $5,900 a year to use it. And the other people that were using the first one were just doing the free option, no $3,700. That's telling me something.
Basically, what Sioux Falls and Rapid are doing is a free one, and they're just throwing their
Yeah, but yet they're
facilities out
participating.
there and say, hey, okay,
Yeah,
something.
but they are paying for this one.
Yeah, here's what's.
They're paying for this one, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Rapid City.
So you have Experience Sioux Falls, so they're going through their Convention Visitors Bureau, and then the Rapid City Sports Commission.
I said 3, who's the third one?
No, there's three
No.
for the Sports Tourism Index. There wasn't Play
Go
Easy.
back there.
it said 3.
Yeah.
Oh,
on
that's
the
us.
sheet. Oh, we're the other one. How are we in there if we're not paying them?
Just a demo. He was nice
Oh,
enough
okay,
to
I gotcha.
let us experience the real deal. And again, I guess with the search, and search engine organization,
I guess my question would be, is the board comfortable with losing $5,000 and getting no leads for at least 1 year, so we don't have to wonder if this was a good or a bad idea?
I think we have to try either one of them.
so again, here's.
I would pay a little bit more for Play Easy than I would the 3,700 and not have at least the data of
Bringing
how
people
many
to the
people
site.
looked,
Yeah.
and yes.
So here's an example of that search engine. So they may have a daughter or a son. I just highlighted this, searched it in Google. That's the first thing that popped up. It was through Play Easy. That event specific page.
Oh, yeah, and then the second one, yeah.
It seems like it's worth the gamble. And maybe it's not a gamble, At least next year we know, yep, that doesn't work, we gotta find something else. But even if you get 1 or 2 events, we'd be like, man, I'm glad we did that.
If you do nothing, it's not gonna work either.
No matter what, you're failing. Yeah, exactly.
It's a cheap investment just to see what.
It's a very cheap
what
investment,
it's-
right.
What it's about. I mean, I'm a little skeptical, but for, $49.95, don't know till you try.
How hard do we think it would be to get all of the ones that for this next year have gotten money for tournaments to get them to enter their info?
Depends who's gonna enter. He's gonna do it, we can do it.
Isn't there a person though, can't you give that authority to whoever's running the tournament?
How do they enter it?
No.
Would you have time to do it,
I
Aaron?
would be creating the event.
But then could I, as the
Event
president of
You
the
can.
hockey association, enter?
Yep, there's, on the backside, you're able to
add people to that
add a
event?
new member
Oh.
to that event.
So you'd be like the admin, and then if one other, let's say it's a softball, people wanted to add their own stuff to make
Yeah,
it special.
so just for
Then you-
example,
okay, got it.
City Classic, I would add Ernie or Buffy, and they could be able to go into this microsite of their event.
And they can't mess with anybody else's, but.
No,
they
it
can
would
look at
just be
theirs
this,
and-
it would
So
just be,
who gets rates from
For the hotel side of it?
all the motels for that
I'm assuming they just go out to the regular websites.
But-
search.
Yeah, they have crawlers that go out.
They, if you remember when Aaron was going through, he said there's two different options. There's one if they have a block of rooms and one if they don't have a block of rooms.
so these prices are generated through
Their website.
Google, through their website. For this, so this is the specific date of the Hoop City Classic, and these are the rates.
So it's really taking data that already exists, but it's compiling all of your bid hotels into one location. So if someone Googles the Hoop City Classic and that's out there, you're gonna be able to see all the hotels that are paying into the bid as the first landing page. I was thinking of there was a recent SEA event, I don't remember what it was, it might have been soccer, I don't remember, but when they came to the meeting, they said they offered discounts through some of the restaurants to get people to go downtown after the events. I don't know if you guys remember that, but on there where it said sales, maybe that's where they tie in any other partnerships they have with people in town.
But once you enter the hotels, the restaurants,
They're there.
the things, they're there for every event, no matter what goes in.
Yep.
You don't have to enter them each.
Correct, yeah, this
Right.
this is our homepage, and then basically, I would go back in and enter every facility that I entered for Sports Tourism Index, and it would have its own page. Pictures preferred, he said.
So you've already got most of the work done.
I have 8 of them, and then I would go back in.
If it's that cheap and Aaron's going to do all the work, I don't see any downside.
So obviously, these would be all the facilities that I would go through that I entered in Sports Tourism Index. I would just make sure they were entered into Play Easy and answer any of the questions.
And
that
then
they asked.
whoever's doing the tournament could enter the,
So I would,
please come and sign up for this exhilarating tournament, blah, 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 blah.
and it actually generates, so, yeah, this was not my grammar. This was generated based on throughout Google. It put together this paragraph.
Like from Hoop City stuff out in Google?
Yep.
Oh, man, that's crazy. That's cool though.
And then, yes, once, again, my direction I thought we'd go is if an event's awarded SEA funding, they would be the event on here. I would communicate with the organizer, share the link, share the admin privileges, and then they would be able to come in and have the same, I guess, permissions as I do to go in and put together hotel specials. So then if they would have a hotel special or, again, room blocks or whatever the language is, they would come in here and then you would select what hotel they have that through the booking, the URL to that specific hotel, whatever their room rate they agreed on, what date it's valid for, and then a description for the offer.
And then when the booking goes, or when that block goes away, it just goes to the regular hotel listing then?
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think you'll find most motels are just gonna say, go to the
Regular,
site, book,
yeah.
we're not gonna reserve
Yeah.
blocks.
Yeah.
And
I was thinking
we're not gonna
that,
block a room of 20, block 20 rooms for an event, not knowing I'm gonna get any, and pass on those rooms in the meantime. You're just gonna say, go to the website and book it.
And then obviously, again, the educating is getting parents, family members to do everything through the link that takes them to this. Because this is where you would get your hotel pickup numbers, any special clicks for that, for the hotels. And then if there's any promotion, redemption through local businesses and restaurants, that would
So-
show up here.
I saw somewhere on one of the click-throughs you were doing, it showed like a QR code thing. Does it create one for each event
does.
page then? So, I mean, they could put that QR code on all their marketing materials that's going up, it's gonna take them right to that.
Yep, so
And
it
like
just
when you're
takes-
posting your events on like our social media and those things, you could include those QR codes
Yep, so this QR code for the Hoop City Classic, you scan it, and it takes you
to this.
to this
Yeah.
page for this event specific. This would be the link that you can, again, share
Oh,
right up here. If you want to
Yeah.
copy, paste it. You know, if it's a Mac Triathlon, just again, pulling a Mac Triathlon, they would include this link, a part of their registration to say, hey,
right.
this is where you would reserve your rooms, there's more information about the event. And you can actually, there's a feature you can register through this as well. So if it's a participant-based, you can check mark the box, and then there's more features to where you could,
Does that cost any additional money? Because that might be nice for those new startup events that don't have another.
nope, so everything we discussed was the $49.95. You know,
That piece
obviously,
of it's interesting, but you still have the, request for information piece of it, that's really what we're kind of looking for. I mean,
yeah, we kind of got,
that's kind of separate than signing up for the event once you have it, booking a room and all that stuff.
Doesn't do too much.
Yeah, I mean, it's convenient, but that's, that's, to me, isn't the big piece. The big piece is when people go on there and see all of our facilities and say, hey, let's ask for a quote to take our tournament there. That's really what we're looking for.
But the other.
Do you think that gives us this? Do you think that's that? Would you think that that gives it that?
I think it warrants trying it. I'm skeptical that some of those organizations will take the time to set this all up and send people to play
I'm
easy
very
up their hotel rooms. I'm very skeptical about that. But if we get, at least if we get all of our facilities and all our capabilities, if people are actually going to the site to look for, where can I find some regional sites that has 14 soccer fields? And
So-
I click and say, oh, Mitchell does. I didn't know that.
You never know.
Let's talk to them, I mean, you just don't know.
But if the most basic part is just the hotel rooms are already loaded, our hotels and local businesses are already loaded, and Aaron's creating the event for anytime we create an SEA event, they won't really have to do too much to add to it, you would think. And maybe it'd be good if someone who is looking at those sites can go and look at some of the other events that we've hosted in Mitchell. Like, here's our list of 300 events in the last year.
So do you think you guys have got enough information? If someone were to make a motion to approve this, we would vote in the affirmative? And then I would make a motion that we do a trial run for 1 year and Aaron does all the work to set it up and make it perfect and get a bunch of events here.
We're going to get an education if nothing else.
Well, yeah, if it doesn't work, then we know and then we can. So I would make that motion.
They have a motion and a second.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Except for the Play Easy or the other one?
play easy.
Play easy.
Okay. Let's see, real quickly, letter D, reappointment and appointments. So Tim Smith has been reappointed business representative from January 2025 through December 31st, 2027. Austin Iverson's term is expiring here the end of the year. Jerry Thompson has been appointed Hampton Inn for the term January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2027. And then I just wanted to share as well for the board. So Connie reached out this morning. She shared the recommendation that she would like, I guess, to transition her position. So basically, she would resign from My Place Hotel representation, and the mayor would appoint Bobby to be the My Place representative starting January 1st, 2025, and then that would be, final approval would be on the December 16th city council agenda, and that would go into effect January 1st.
That works for me. And thank you, Austin, for serving. If you ever want to come back on, just let me know. Thank everyone that's serving now, and we're going to put them on another board.
And then lastly, meeting dates. I assume we want to do January for our next meeting date. So I think we need to appoint chair, chairperson, or chair, vice chair, and secretary, I think. Is there a secretary that's supposed to be? That can be discussed after the meeting, but I thought I saw somewhere in the ordinance it said secretary as well. But I'll just send out an email with 4 potential dates in January. Does that work?
And then why don't you put on the agenda, Aaron, the Corn Palace, potential Corn Palace renovation? So then we can bring, we're going to start some discussions with the possible expansion of the floor and some other options that we're going to start bringing in front of the public. And so I think that would be good to get the input of this committee also.
More than the cup holders?
Found 15 cases of cup holders in the basement. We're going to put them on soon. Just in the front rows.
Anything else we want to add to the next agenda or share before we adjourn the meeting? Adjourn? 4:37. Thanks, Aaron.